with The Real Cinemas Blackpool and Ballincollig and online at therealpicture.com.
In a world where there's a million movie podcasts, here comes another one from themoviebit.com. This is the podcast.
Christ. Who taught you that technique? A friggin' cheese grater?
Anything gets more than 3 blocks out, you turn it back or you turn it to ash. So you listen to me and you listen well.
Hey everybody, how we doing? Welcome to the podcast from themoviebit.com in association with our sponsors, The Real Picture Cinemas. My name is Victor Barry. Over there is Tom White.
Hello, everyone.
Tom, how's it going?
I'm good, sir.
It has actually surprisingly been a damn good week for movies. We're going to be talking about some of the better movies on this week's podcast. And by the way, please subscribe on iTunes and Stitcher. It is all for free, and you get all this goodness every Monday for nothing if you subscribe. So let's get going. We like to teach you good stuff about the movies, stuff that you've never known before, stuff that is rather epic, stuff that is trivial in nature, stuff that is Tom's Trivia Tree. Is it a tree with branches or is it a numerical 3? We're not quite sure.
First it was a fryer.
Yeah.
Yeah, now it's become a tree.
Somebody roll the fucking jingle.
That's you.
It's not me, Tom. It's somebody else.
Tom's Trivia Tree.
All right. Let's talk Paul, the Simon Pegg Nick Frost movie. And Nick Frost's character is left-handed because he broke his right hand.
Really?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
It's a really weird piece of trivia. And and I think that's what we're going with today. Let's move on to The Prestige.
Actually, by the way, Baby Driver.
Yes.
Speaking of Nick Frost, Edgar Wright, is Nick Frost in Baby Driver? Probably somewhere.
Somewhere.
Possibly. We're not sure.
But the Edgar Wright connection. Yeah, we will be talking about Baby Driver later.
Yeah. So stay tuned, people. Stay tuned.
The Prestige, the main character's initials spell Abra. That's Alfred Borden and Robert Angier, as in abracadabra.
You got to give Nolan...
Yeah, he's been a little bit playful there, isn't he?
You got to give Nolan props for like, you know, cleverness and being just I'm going to fuck everybody over because they're not going to know what they're going to watch. Not that he speaks like that, but,
no.
You know. Anyway, go on, give us one more.
And then finally, Judi Dench's M has more screen time in Skyfall alone than Desmond Llewellyn had in his 17 films as Q.
Wouldn't be hard. Q's stuff in the movies was literally, hey, Mr. Bond, here's a fucking car, here's a bomb, here's a fucking watch that watches you shit. You know, and that was it, and he was done.
Yeah, he's kind of in and out.
I am not a James Bond fan at all.
We know.
But wasn't there some bust up at me and James Bond there last year?
Roger Moore, specifically.
Oh, yeah. That's Jesus, Tom's memory is a lot better than mine. But I think Skyfall is painful. I think the ending of it is painful, especially for Judi Dench. I don't care if that's a spoiler. Fuck off. If you're a Bond fan, you'll have watched it. If you're not, you've no interest in watching it. It's, I don't know. And I really like Casino Royale with Daniel Craig.
Yeah. I think for someone who just admitted that they hate Bond, Casino Royale and Quantum of Solace kind of updated the character.
Yeah.
And then
Sam Mendes shit all over it. He went back to the classic Bond. I was like...
Yeah, I doubt it was him. I doubt he walked into Eon Studios and goes, I want to bring it back to old school.
I think he started pushing it because, you know...
I think Quantum of Solace pushed it.
We had Casino Royale, Quantum of Solace.
Yeah. Quantum of Solace, I think, one of the lowest performing Bonds ever.
Yeah, and then was it Skyfall?
Skyfall, and then
Spectre. So, yeah, you're right. Quantum of Solace started edging back towards that...
Ever so slightly.
Yeah, just kind of pushing the boat out, and then nobody in the studio said anything. So then I think with Skyfall, it's like, let's go full blown old school. All it needed was fucking crocodiles, or maybe there were alligators. I'm not sure. Yeah, no, I find Skyfall painful to watch.
And then Spectre is...
I refuse to watch it.
It's basically a Roger Moore movie at times.
Yeah, without Roger Moore.
Without Roger Moore.
Or crocodiles.
It was only in one film.
Yeah, but you know what? Crocodiles and Roger Moore. There's probably another movie in that, one that you would find on the deepest, darkest places of the internet late at night. Yeah, just his legs.
Oh, Jesus.
I'm only joking, Rog. You know me. I'm only joking. All right, there you go. There's some cool stuff that you didn't know before. Roger Moore's legal team are currently fucking writing down notes.
They're in a constant state of readiness whenever we talk.
You can pause and rewind. So listen, let's get to the movie reviews this week. There are 2 movies out. One of them I thought I would hate.
Yeah.
And it had...
It's not out till Paddy's Day, though.
Yeah. And then the other one I had a feeling I would like anyway because I'm a fan of the character. Let's start with Beauty and the Beast. But before we get to that, we've seen this at Disney Day.
Yeah.
Disney bringing some, what are we, journalists?
Yes.
Broadcasters? Assholes, I'm sure somebody's just saying. And we all get together and they bring some cinema owners together and we go see a load of stuff and they screen a movie or 2.
Yeah.
It was a half-day session this time around, so Beauty and the Beast was the movie, and then they showed us 28.3 minutes of Star Wars The Last Jedi. It was fucking awesome. We can't talk about anything, but I'm putting it all out in a limb. When Chewie took a shit into R2, I just thought it was the best thing ever. It was the best thing ever. Oh fuck it, look, as we're there on the spoilers, Luke does say baby girl. Yep. My baby girl. All the Reddit people are like, fuck yeah. No, we didn't. There was no. Well, we did see one thing from Star Wars: The Last Jedi. One thing, and this isn't breaking any disclosure agreements or anything. We saw the fucking logo on a 400-foot screen. That was about it. That's it. Disney are now going right. Okay, Tom, why you're very bad. So we did see loads of cool stuff. I think it's going to be very.
It's going to be good.
We didn't see any Star Wars stuff. There is no Star Wars stuff. If you're part of the shareholder meetings at Disney, yes, there was. But other than that, the rest of us fucking cretins didn't see anything. But I think it's going to be a very, very cool year, particularly for Marvel.
Yeah. And 95% of what we saw, we can't talk about.
Yeah. Bar Luke or the Chewie shitting into R2 that just took off his head and shit into the tin can.
And C-3PO having lightsaber hands.
Yeah. Anyway, so let's move on. Beauty and the Beast. It's. I hate musicals. They're just not for me. It's not for any. I just fucking hate musicals. Like some people hate sci-fi, some people hate drama. I hate musicals. I find them annoying. I just find myself waiting for the songs to end so the next part of the movie can continue.
So a James Bond musical, you'd want to shoot yourself in the head.
I would call around to Roger Moore's house.
What did he ever do to this podcast?
I don't know. What happened? Did he moan about something?
I don't know.
Somebody who has, any interest in life, or not their own lives, go back and listen to some of the podcasts and find out we can't be fucking arsed. To be honest, there has been so many incidents on this podcast over the years.
All from you.
All from me.
I'm washing my hands.
That I'm not sure.
I love your Raj, I do.
I'm not sure where they are. There are so many faux pas, and that was a faux pas, I'm led to believe. Tom here is like cringing. I'm like, what the fuck? I have no idea.
You're going to call him a cunt again, aren't you?
Roger Moore's a cunt? No, he's not. He's a lovely man. Bring out the fucking gators. The gators are sleeping. I bet you better go wake them up. Don't feed them sons of bitches for a month. Anyway, right. Hey, Rod. Come swim in this pool. Don't mind that crunching sound. That's only your spine. I have no idea. I'm only playing.
Yeah,
I'm only playing.
That went somewhere.
Just somewhere dark. Yeah. So anyway, Beauty and the Beast. Yeah. Fuck that. You would love to see Roger Moore fall into a pool of alligators. Yeah.
We've seen him and he tiptoed across them.
In real life, they were fake alligators.
that was a documentary.
No. Those alligators were fed that fucking day and 2 minutes before he jumped across. Anyway, let's move on. Well, it wasn't him, it was a stuntman, but nonetheless. So look, let's get to it. Beauty and the Beast, movie thought I would fucking hate. I still stand by my unrelenting hatred for movies
Yep.
of musicals.
Yeah.
Of musical nature. But man, I kind of enjoyed this.
Yeah.
I really did. I genuinely enjoyed it. It just didn't make me cry or anything. It just made me feel all warm and gooey on the inside.
Yeah, it was.
And then I got out of the cinema.
Obviously, it's the remake of the classic animation, and they approach it as if it's not broke, don't fix it. So it's pretty much as is, from what you remember. They've added a bit more to it. There's some backstory with the Beast, his family, and Belle's family. Gaston's a bit more of an asshole, which I absolutely love. Luke Evans as Gaston is absolutely amazing. Like, he's just perfect as kind of just this cartoon oaf just brought to life. And yeah, everything you would expect from Beauty and the Beast is there. All the songs are there. Be Our Guest, Belle, Tale as Old as Time, Gaston, all there. All really well done. Bill Condon has brought this to life beautifully. The effects are amazing. One or two of the talking furniture felt a bit drab and a bit lifeless. I'm talking about Miss Potts. I said this fake after I left cinema. I never thought I would say Emma Thompson is no Angela Lansbury. Yeah, no, she's great in the role, but she just feels very lifeless as Mrs. Potts. But other than that, it's a good old fashioned feeling musical.
Yeah, do you know part of it reminded me of the old swashbuckling Earl Flynn days, because it's got that big kind of pomp and circumstance about it, and choreographed numbers, and everything runs very, very smoothly. So there's that kind of element of it as well, which I think is a great throwback to old school Disney.
Yep.
And if you look at their older animations, we'd say back in like the 30s, 40s, and 50s, the Cinderellas and that, where there's these big, huge choreographed pieces.
Yeah.
They've kind of brought that to life here, and there's kind of a nice little nod to Walt of old, way back when. And I think that's credible. I think for me, performance-wise, leave the fur on Dan Stevens. Really leave the fur on Dan Stevens. As Tom said, Luke Evans is great as Gaston. Emma Watson is very, very good. When she doesn't get her tits out. Sorry, I'm sorry. Somebody's going, you fucking Piers Morgan. No, she is very good. She does fall apart when it's CG.
Yeah.
You can plainly see when she's acting against a green screen or acting against nothing.
Yeah.
Because she's got this I'm a fucking Bambi in the headlights look about her.
And you thought she would have had plenty of experience with Harry Potter.
That's the one thing that you said, and I think that's what I was thinking as well after you said it. And it's disappointing at times, because it does, and it's so glaringly obvious, it does kind of jar you out of the movie, where while the artists and the cinematography does such a very good job of pulling you in, the performances are great, and then all of a sudden you have Emma Thompson going,
Watson.
oh Jesus,
Yeah.
and you're immediately dragged back out of this,
Yes, she puts
virtual
on that
reality.
accent and everything.
Yeah. But I mean, other than that, as Tom said, I think it's it's definitely worth a punt.
Yeah, I think this was the proving ground for Disney and their live action stuff, because like this is probably one of their most beloved classics.
Is it more so than Cinderella?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like when you consider how many times has it been re-released, how many times has it been put out in Blu-ray and DVD?
Yeah, and of course it was re-released in cinemas a couple of years ago.
Yeah,
A
I
remastered
think
version.
twice.
Was it twice?
In the last couple of years? Yeah.
Okay.
And kind of when you think about it now, everyone who saw it as a kid is now have family themselves, or is of the I have my own money, I can go to the cinema kind of audience that Disney want. So yeah, no, I do think that it was a big, not a gamble, but kind of their biggest release of the live action remake so far.
All right. How many stars?
4 stars.
4 stars. All right. Moving on to Kong Skull Island. By the way, if you've seen Kong Skull Island, we will be explaining the post-credit stuff in the news section a little later on. We'll keep it to the very, very end.
Yep.
So if you haven't seen it, then you won't get ruined. But it's a movie that I think a lot of people, when I was announced at Comic-Con with an image of basically that was quite reminiscent of Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
With like a flare lighting and stuff like that with Tom Hiddleston's character.
Yeah.
I recognised his arse, so
The researcher do heard the movie bit.
And ever since then, I'm a huge King Kong fan. Just even since the original King Kong from 1933, which of course was the inspiration for Ray Harryhausen. Willis O'Brien was the guy that did the animatronics and the stop motion. Well, more stop motion than anything else.
Yeah.
Way back when it was the Cooper version of the movie. It might look like dog shit to some people, but I think it's the Kong movie that's got the most heart and soul. It is absolutely spectacular. If you've never seen it, go check it out. I'm not sure if it's on Netflix or whatever, but you'll pick it up. There's a remastered collector's edition on Blu-ray, which is spectacular, and it's a movie that I think King Kong is one of the all-time famous movie monsters.
Yeah, he's an icon.
He's up there with Godzilla. More about that later on. But and that whole kind of Toho world of monsters from Mothra to all of those.
Yeah, it wouldn't have come about. Well, yeah, no, I'd say without King Kong, we won't get Godzilla.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, I suppose you can look at Godzilla as the Japanese version of King Kong in one sense,
Yeah.
He
He was born from something much different, though. It was not just them trying
yeah. But, for just if you break it down to its simplest level.
Yeah.
But Kong Skull Island, it's not a reboot for a start. It's not a reimagining. It's not a... It's just literally there's this unexplored, uncharted island.
It's Square One, basically.
It's Square One and set in the 70s.
Set in the 70s, yeah.
Tom Hiddleston and Samuel L. Jackson fuck off to an island and have fun.
Yeah. Bring
Tom.
along. John Goodman comes along for good measure.
Oh, I forgot about him.
Yeah. Basically, it ties directly into Godzilla. As we said, we're in 1973, tail end of the Vietnam War. And the Godzilla connection is Monarch, the agency that was hunting Godzilla in the Gareth Edwards movie. We see the beginnings of it, and basically John Goodman's Bill Randa. He's heading an expedition to this uncharted island, Skull Island, and to everyone it's just a routine kind of Landsat exploration mission. To him and his close group of people, they're searching for monsters, and they find one in Kong, who's protector of the island, and he doesn't take too kindly to tourists basically, and they're stranded on the island, have contend with Kong and the other monsters that are running around, including the skull crawlers. Mm-hmm. And after I saw it, I kind of, talking to people about it, I kept comparing it to more and more to Jurassic Park. And I think that's apt, because it feels very much like that in terms of the story and kind of the tone of it all. Because the story is basically the group gets split up, and you have one group kind of trying to survive in the island. The other group are basically the lads in the control center of Jurassic Park. They're finding out more and more of the story, and it's an action adventure. It's like I said in my review, it's only March, but this feels like a lab engineered summer blockbuster. And yes, the story at times kind of, you have to take out your brain, but it gets crazy, and just embrace the craziness and you will have this huge smile plastered all across your face. The effects are spectacular. Kong is absolutely amazing. He's 100 feet tall in this. That's because you may have heard that Kong vs. Godzilla is slated for 2020, and they need him to be the size of what he was in Gareth Edwards' movie.
And this is baby Kong, so he's still growing?
Yeah, they make a point that he is still growing, so just imagine how big he's going to be in a couple of years' time. Yeah, the Kong is just so expressive. He just moves with such a grace and like speed that you wouldn't think a 100-foot gorilla could move that fast. And then the rest of the creatures, from giant spiders to the skull crawlers, basically lizards that can just have skull faces and just 2 hind legs and a powerful tail, they look spectacular. And Jordan Vogt-Roberts, this is his second movie, and his first one was a comedy, Kings of Summer, and you wouldn't. It's the Colin Trevorrow effect. You wouldn't think an indie director could move on to a big blockbuster, big budget tentpole movie, and he does. And it's, God, I'm trying to explain. Like, they seem like, we loved Godzilla, but the big complaint from Godzilla was that you didn't see enough of the monster. And they, from 20 minutes in, Kong is there, big and bold for all to see. And it's not all Kong all the time. He does kind of disappear now and again, so the story can move forward. But when he's there, all eyes are on him.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, and it's hard to miss him.
Yeah.
I think, like Tom is right, the ILM visual effects have been phenomenal in this. I think there's one scene that stands out where Kong walks through the water, and for scale, you have Tom Hiddleston and even another bunch of characters.
Yeah, just watching, and then he's a squid.
And he is fucking enormous. And that's one of the movie scenes of the year.
Yeah.
All it is a monkey fucking walking through fucking a river. That's all it is. But it's incredible.
It's also a great bit where he grabs a helicopter and the camera is panning up his arm. It's kind of basically, it's like the camera's stuck to the side of the helicopter and you're seeing what the people in the helicopter are seeing. There is
not a lot of set pieces. I felt there was more action in Peter Jackson's King Kong.
Yeah.
But what is here is spectacular. And that's not to say there's not a lot of... There is, but there's just not as much as Jackson's Kong. But I think it's fairly intuitive in how it does it and how it works. And a lot of the cinematography in this is big wide angles, so you do have these rolling, incredible looking vistas.
Yeah.
A lot of the movie was shot in Hawaii, so the monkeys and the lizards, they really take up a lot of real estate and screen, and it looks absolutely spectacular.
There's an amazing shot of Hiddleston with a gas mask on, just cutting monsters down with a samurai sword.
That was the one shot I felt didn't sit with me
Really?
at all. I thought it felt completely out of place to the rest of the movie.
Wow.
Because it was so brief, and because he was surrounded by all this gas.
Yeah.
It just took you out of the whole thing.
It made me sit up and take notice.
Okay.
But let's talk about the cast as well.
Cast, I mean, like Tom Hiddleston, I don't think he's suited to these types of roles. I mean, everybody prefers Hiddleston as
the villain, yeah.
You know, that's burdened with glorious fucking whatever it is.
I was waiting for him to say purpose, actually.
Actually, now that you see waiting for Tom Hiddleston say, glorious fucking purpose.
That's only because Samuel Jackson said something.
Samuel L. Jackson said something. There's another couple of nods to other movies. There's a lot of little nods to Spielberg and Jurassic Park. We're not going to say what. You're going to have to watch them. Sam Jackson is one of them, and it's so glaringly obvious. I was like, come on.
There's for fans of Tim and Eric's awesome show. There's a reference on John C. Reilly's jacket that will make fans of that kind of a squeal, basically.
And John C. Reilly's amazing.
Yeah.
Samuel L. Jackson at this stage is like Bruce Willis. He just plays him.
Yeah, I think it was a little bit deeper than his normal roles. Like, he does play just the one note badass all the time. And yes, he was basically a Captain Ahab-like character, but it was a bit deeper than what we've seen from him recently.
And I don't know if that's saying much, to be honest. John C. Reilly's amazing.
Yeah.
He genuinely is amazing. And I think for me, Kong Skull Island is in my top 10 of the year. I don't want to say it's top 5 just yet.
Yeah.
But I do think it'll be in there because it's just joyful to watch. It's what a movie should be. It's something that you go in and your brain is completely disengaged. It entertains from kind of start to finish. It's safe for kids. I think it's safe for kids. My Cameron is 6 and a bit. So he didn't have any problems with it. He loved it.
Yeah.
Yes, there's tongues and entrails and dismemberment, but
It's Gremlins violence.
yeah, I'd even, I mean, look, if you've taken your kids, if your kids have seen Jurassic Park or probably Jurassic World, which was fairly gory, then they'll have no problem with Kong Skull Island. But Tom, wrap it up. 4 stars, 5 stars, 8 stars.
Do we do that now? 4 stars. It's a fantastic blockbuster. Early summer blockbuster.
Yeah, go check it out. Seriously, go check it out. Right, I'm sure at some point he'll appear in a fucking Kong movie, because his character that he portrays is normally in some disaster movie or big blockbuster of some form. But time to unleash our critically acclaimed screen actor on a movie that he hasn't been a part of yet. And then, by the way, we're going to get into Edgar Wright's Baby Driver. Josh Whedon is a cunt. And we're going to talk about the in-credit, post-credit scene of Kong Skull Island. So that's all to come.
A critically acclaimed screen actor quotes movies he hasn't starred in.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, before I tell you any more, I'm going to show you the greatest thing your eyes have ever beheld. He was a king and a god in the world he knew, but now he comes to civilization merely a captive. A show to gratify your curiosity. Ladies and gentlemen, look at Kong, the 8th wonder of the world. I'd have done a better job than Jack Black, even though, I still have a soft spot for Peter Jackson's King Kong.
Yeah. Too long.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I have about it.
Anyway, right. So let me see. Joss Whedon. Do you know? I wonder, did Netflix approach Joss Whedon and go, do you want a lot of money to do something? And he more or less said, fuck off. Or did he approach them and they said, no, fuck off? Because he has been talking about binge watching, which I think the term binge watching should be familiar to everybody.
Yeah, should be in the dictionary by now.
This is where you will throw on Netflix and you will watch a season of TV in a night, or like 14 hours or something. So I like Joss Whedon. I think he's clever. I think he did an amazing job with the Avengers. But he's come on, he's saying, the more we make things granular and less complete, the more it becomes lifestyle instead of experience. It becomes It becomes ambient, it loses its power, and we lose something with it. We lose our understanding of narrative, which is what we come to television for. We come to see the resolve. I'm fond of referencing it, but Angela Lansbury finds the murderer. It's becoming a little harder to hold on to that. Binge watching, God knows I've done it. It's exhausting, but it can be delightful. It's not the devil, but I worry about it. It's part of a greater whole. You want to shut his hole.
I can see where he's come from.
Yeah, but I mean, that's down to the individual. If somebody wants to fucking, but hang on a second. All of the Buffy fucking box sets that have spawned shelves everywhere, like, does he have a problem with somebody buying a box set and then watching it fucking disc after disc after disc? I bet you not, because you know what?
Makes
that
money.
Big fat fucking pocket of his is getting fatter.
But it didn't. The series didn't just appear on a box set one day. It was a week-to-week experience.
I know that, but if you look at stuff now that it's almost stuff has been released on Netflix, it's been like TV networks are buying the stuff. It's giving, like, Whedon to me is like Nolan in a lot of ways, on the sense that Nolan is desperately clinging onto film.
Yeah.
As in the format itself, 35mm, 70mm, that's really admirable. He's not getting onto the digital bandwagon. And I think Whedon is kind of the same here, even though he admits to, binge watching himself. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think he's kind of, this is just a soundbite from him fucking throwing the toys out of the pram, because he's condemning what he does. He says he's done it, but I'm worried about it. Don't fucking worry about it, Joss. It's okay.
But like, binge watching has given rise to a new way of telling a serial story. Like, no longer is there going to be a big cliffhanger and you wait a week to see it resolved and you're wondering how it's going to resolve.
But you know what? Is there anything wrong with that? Is there, because, you know, like if we all go back to the days of Glenroe and shit, and there was a cliffhanger, you go, fuck it, I wish it was next week already. So with the streaming services, they've kind of taken out that I wish it was next week already. You know?
Yeah, but let's take Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Would we've enjoyed the Red Wedding as much as we did if we didn't have that week of cooling down from us, wondering what's going to happen, what does it mean for the Starks, what does it mean for the Lannisters?
You know what? I think with something like that, where the fan base is rabid, then I think they would have fucking watched it straight away if they could have. You know, I get what you're saying. I think this is a cultural shift. Not everybody does it. Not everybody is doing Netflix and finger blasting. You know,
it's called Netflix and chill.
It's look, it's like, you want to come to my house and watch some Netflix. That should be, you know,
I will
that should be like, fucking, you want to come to my house and suck my dick? That's what it should be.
So just completely just remove the Netflix from it.
Yeah, because ultimately, you know, and you know, it's a great marketing ploy.
Yeah,
and they've embraced it. But yeah, no, I see both points. I think it's the minority who binge watch. Nobody's going to watch an entire fucking season.
I binge watch procedurals. I binge watch reality shows. I don't binge watch kind of week to week story driven things, because I do like that. Yeah, just sitting back and letting it wash over you. And
well, I suppose, you know, they're brain dead things as opposed to something that's driven by a fucking really powerful narrative.
I binge watch Operation, or was it the Beastmaster thing with Sylvester Stallone this morning, that fucking Wipeout ripoff.
I mean, you see, you binge watch. Define binge watching.
I've watched 4 episodes.
You know, that's not too bad, realistically.
Out of 6.
But yeah, but here's the thing. I remember when I never got into The Sopranos when they came out. I'm one of these people that never watch TV shows when they start, and then when I hear they become popular, I'm like, I hate all of these fucking people. I'm never going to watch it.
I can attest to that.
Yeah, because there's always assholes on Facebook that you despise, and I unfriend them. But I watched, like, there was a buddy of mine gave me a fucking season 1 of The Sopranos. He goes, watch this, is the best. I look, oh fucking no, bye. So I watched an episode and I was like, okay. Then I watched another episode and I'm like, okay. And then by the 3rd episode I was hooked. So I watched the first season and I gave him back the thing. And then I went off and I bought all the other seasons, all the box sets.
Binge watching is nothing new.
No, it's not. It's there forever.
Yeah.
But the point I'm getting at is I caught up with where it was in reality, as it were. So I caught up to the present day of The Sopranos for, I think, probably maybe the last 2 or 3 seasons.
And how did that affect you?
It fucking killed me.
Yeah.
It fucking killed me to wait every single fucking week. It fucking killed me. I would have given HBO everything under the sun if they would have given me a box set of the upcoming season. But that was just for me because I was into it. It's not going to be for everybody. I think where this does fall down and where, you know, there is a concern is that you go on Facebook and some fucking dickhead has watched 15 seasons of your favorite TV show and they're blurting out spoilers. That's a problem. You know, but I don't think you can stop people from binge watching. It's not like they're going to be a fucking law.
Like I don't think he's employing an army to stop people from binge watching. It's the internet. He's giving his opinion.
I mean, ultimately, you know, they still get fucking paid at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that if people have such an appetite that they want to watch 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, whatever episodes in one viewing, then that's testament to the quality of the product. I would think if you were a creator on Netflix and people weren't, you know, watching your stuff back to back, you'd be like, what am I doing wrong? So I think Whedon has to look at this again, and I know you're listening, Joss, Roger Moore.
Are they one and the same people?
No, they're not. But you know what I mean? That I've lost my fucking train of thought now. See that Roger Moore cunt again?
I was about to say it involved cunt somehow.
Fuck me. But I mean, that's that. Yeah, I'm after losing it. But yeah, I mean, you know, sorry, that's the point. That if people are binge watching your stuff, then you know you've made it. Yeah, you really have. It's the same. If you watch a YouTube channel, whatever that is, whether that's a vlogger, whether that's one of the YouTube shows, whether that's a tech thing, whatever. If you watch one of those videos, and the whole idea with YouTube is that from an advertising point of view, the algorithms want to keep you on the site as long as possible. So you watch fucking one of my vlogs and you go, oh, that was awesome. And then you go watch another one and you go, that was shit, unsubscribe. But you know what I mean? So the thing
Tom's
is,
no longer in it.
they keep you there as long as possible. So I think that's a good thing. Plus, when something like House of Cards ends, which I've never got into, there's this insatiable appetite for the next season. Not everybody watches, and might be over the period of a week, but the world from a technology point of view is changing. Radio is a dying medium. Spotify is fucking crushing it. And the likes of Netflix and Hulu and Amazon Studios, like Amazon and Netflix have awards and Oscar nominations and fucking Emmy nominations come out their ass.
Yeah, so
They're changing the way how you watch and how you listen. The days of you having to be dictated by a network, you can only watch it now and then in 2 weeks, those days are dying.
basically the evolution of TV shows now is a season is doing what an episode did.
Yeah.
An entire season making you look forward to the next installment.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And the good thing is that while you're waiting for the next installment, you go, fuck, what can I watch now? And you might binge watch something else, you know? Because you can't really do that with TV. You were limited to schedules.
Yeah.
With this, you still may stay in that Netflix ecosystem, you know, where you go, oh, I'll try that. And then before you know it, you're binge watching something else. And before you know it, your favourite show's back. And then before you know it, you're Tom, watching reality TV shows 24 hours a day.
Damn you, Storage Wars. I got addicted to Storage Wars. And that was on the Discovery Channel. That was just bulk, just like a 4-hour session of Storage Wars in the morning.
All right.
I hate myself sometimes.
Moving on, themoviebit.com right now. See the trailer for Edgar Wright's Baby Driver. Great soundtrack. A lot of people are talking about the soundtrack. Look, Wright's a bit of a music aficionado anyway, so I would expect nothing less. It looks like a kind of a straightforward,
It's
actiony.
Yeah, so it's basically
crimey.
It's crimey. Is that a new genre?
Yeah.
It's actually crimey, car chasey.
Section the crimey stuff. Where's the crimey section? Fuck you, give me the crimey stuff.
So yeah, basically the story is Baby, Alison Elgort from Fault in Our Stars. He's the world's greatest getaway driver, but he must always listen to music because he suffers
Ringing in his ear.
Yeah, so tinnitus. He's suffering tinnitus from a childhood injury.
Probably listen to this fucking podcast.
Yeah. So basically, it debuted last night at South by Southwest. Heaps of praise thrown upon it. Basically, it's a car chase musical, is the best way to describe it. All the car chase sequences are propelled by the soundtrack. And you get a bit of that from the trailer, the way it's edited. And Edgar Wright's probably one of the best editors in the business. He's just incredibly fast, incredibly quick editing style, and kind of this seems to kind of just suit him down to the ground. And it's a movie he's wanted to make for a while now, and just watch the trailers on moviebit.com. There's 2 up there, and it looks like breakneck speed from start to finish. It looks absolutely incredible. You've got Kevin Spacey in there. You've got John Hamm, Jamie Foxx, Flea from Red Hot Chili Peppers is in there as well. It looks hilarious. It looks action packed, and I just can't wait for it. Like, there's always, whenever you hear about an Edgar Wright movie, there's always 2 questions you have to ask. 1, when is it out? And 2, why can't I watch it now? Like, he is one of the best filmmakers at the moment, one of the most unique filmmakers we have, and he's up there with Tarantino. Any Tarantino movie you hear about, I have to watch that. Any Edgar Wright movie you hear about, you have to watch it.
And if you subscribe to this podcast for free, Edgar Wright's been a regular enough guest on the podcast, so you can go back through the interviews and pick that up. And then just a kind of a final piece of news that's just starting to break. I really did not like Batman v Superman.
No.
I did not like Man of Steel when it came out originally. It's grown on me since, not hugely, but enough to, stop some of the venom flowing.
That's why people are going to bash DC again.
But now we're hearing that there's a Man of Steel sequel, as much I'm sure to the fucking disgust of Zack Snyder. But Matthew Vaughn, of all people,
Yep.
is fucking apparently could be involved in directing this. He's saying that he's always said that Superman should be fun and colourful.
Yeah.
Which is fucking Vaughn, if he does this and if he gets it fucking right, could be the guy to turn around Warner in DC.
Yeah, just watch Secret Service, just watch Kick-Ass. They're the most colourful superhero movies ever. And I know Secret Service is not a superhero movie, but it has the same beats of it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think this is the best news that whatever fucking money's in the bank that Warner have, and if DC have anything left, just fucking pile it into a big load of trucks, back it up to his fucking house,
and then just leave him at it.
And
don't interfere, Warner Brothers.
Take a leaf out of Fox's book with Logan. They left James Mangold do what the fuck he want. Look at the fucking movie now. Alright? Huge critical acclaim, decent box office. Leave Vaughn do what the fuck he wants with Superman, because I think there's probably not a director out there that has the artistic vision that Vaughn has.
Yeah.
He's got great scope. Maybe somebody like James Cameron, but he's got this amazing
Cameron will just want to shoot on the water all the time.
yeah, that's it. Maybe they just replay that Niagara Falls scene from the earlier fucking Donner movies. Anyway, so we don't have any more on that. Just that's what it is, and that's the best news we could end on.
Yeah,
really.
Let's just hope that there's not another project that he views more important, because that's why we didn't get a Vaughn directed Days of Future Past, because there was all these spy movies coming out and he wanted to get the ball rolling on Secret Service as soon as possible.
Yeah, you know what, a Superman in the mold of Kick-Ass, but slightly toned down, where Lois Lane is and screaming "alright, you cunts" and so on, and
he isn't just punching his way through people's sources.
Yeah, and I think Snyder just completely misread the character.
Yeah,
Singer had some kind of grasp in it, and
Snyder Batmanized him, and
which is the wrong thing. And Snyder isn't a Superman fan anyway.
Yeah,
and
that hurt Batman v Superman, because they were basically, instead of being two sides of the same coin, they were the same coin.
Yeah. That's a really good way of putting it. So look, Superman movie directed by Matthew Vaughn. We couldn't have thought about this in our wildest dreams. Hopefully, this dream becomes a reality. And keep on themoviebit.com, and we'll give you further updates. That concludes this evening's broadcast. We got one more.
We have to talk Kong.
Oh yeah. At the very, very end. Okay.
Yeah.
So, right, usual podcast is done and dusted. Kong, Skull Island spoilers, post-credit scene. We're going to do it. So remember, subscribe and all that jazz. We'll do a proper outro in a minute, but this is the part. If you haven't seen Kong Skull Island, you don't want to find out what happens after post-fucking credits, then now's the time to stop listening. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Last chance, motherfuckers. All right. Chewie takes a shit in the fucking R2-D2. Yeah, I mean, the end of Kong Skull, and it's at it's not a mid-credit scene, it's at the very, very fucking end, so you have to stay there for like 6 months. And it starts off with Hiddleston and Brie Larson. Not Brie Larson, is it?
It's Brie Larson.
Yeah, it is Brie Larson, yeah. They're part of the fucking monkey hunting zoo, or the monster hunting fucking zoo now. And then there's all this old little footage of stuff that's been found.
Yeah.
So who's in there?
We've got
Mothra.
Mm-hmm. We have got Rodan. Mm-hmm. We've got King Ghidorah, and of course we got Godzilla. And it ends on it really ends on the roar, and Godzilla's roar mixed in with Kong's roar, hyping up Kong vs Godzilla. But there's a last picture is of Godzilla fighting King Ghidorah, who, if you don't know your old Toho movies, is a gigantic dragon dinosaur with 3 heads. So basically, we have Godzilla King of Monsters coming out 2019. Mm-hmm. So it's basically confirming what we've kind of heard.
And we're going to do this for 2020?
Kong vs. Godzilla is 2020, and the Godzilla sequel is 2019. Yeah. It's confirming that all the rights issues have been cleared up. That's why we had the Mutos in the first Godzilla. There was rights issues with Toho. The Toho monsters are coming to the big screen. We got Mothra, we got Rodan, We got King Ghidorah to start off. Hopefully some more will come in there. I'm waiting for Jet Jaguar. If you don't know, if you haven't seen any of the old Godzillas, I had no idea what we're talking about, go back. They're so much fun. All of the designs are absolutely amazing. Ooh, Mechagodzilla.
So that's probably jumping the gun for this one. But you never know.
But yes, so it's basically the Toho monsters are coming. And I, for one, cannot wait.
Absolutely, there you go. And I'm sure you can't wait for next week's podcast. So subscribe, and it'll be downloaded direct to your podcast device, whether it's a phone or whatever, as soon as it becomes available. So thanks for listening. Thanks to our sponsors, The Real Picture Cinemas. Check them out online, therealpicture.com. That's it from Tom. That is it from me, themoviebit.com, at themoviebit on Twitter. Find us on Facebook as well. Subscribe. All right. Good night, everybody. Good night.
The TheMovieBit.com podcasts. Available on iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, direct download, and streaming on the Movie